All right, we're live. Would anybody like to recap from last week? Not last week, 2 weeks ago.
We started in the library of the Flames, or the Plains, and we were examining the artifacts that we found at the end of the previous session. Marthow found a skull with a drawing on the bottom that looked like the eagle-faced creature, and there was draconic on it, and there was Elmorn got a book. It was Zoriath for Dummies, and I don't recall what book Eivar got.
I got a book by what's his name? I'm blanking on his name.
It was at
Hurtlekin Kraw.
Kraw, that's it.
Yeah.
I remember mine talked about like the last time Zoriat overlapped and how it caused like these warpings of creatures, which caused me to speculate whether or not that had something to do with the morning, because there was also a warping of creatures, and so I got a free action point for that.
Yes.
But I assume I could still use because it was like a 2-hour session and there was no real combat.
You still have it. So let me make something a little bit clearer on the action points that are rewarded as rewards. If you don't use that action point that session, it carries over. It's the one exception for action points to carry over between sessions. So make sure that you guys keep track of that. I won't necessarily always keep track of it, and if you forget, it's on you.
Elmorn's book talked about why Zoriat no longer orbits Eberron. Something about a super volcano, maybe not get out of orbit, or that something collided with it and that caused it. Like maybe another plane collided with it and that caused it to move out of orbit. Marthow looked at the skull and he saw a dragon that was being taken over by the angel-faced creature.
Yeah.
Or it was like possessing it. That wasn't really clear.
It basically dug its claws into its face and just like ripped it apart like it was. And then after we left the Library of the Plains, we went back out, go to Hurtlekin Kraw, quarters, and the receptionist seemed a bit startled when we mentioned that we saw Dalkir. And we took the door to Hurtlekin Kraw's quarters, and he was a small dwarf with yellow-gray robes. And he was working on an experiment where he had a portal open to Zoriath, and there was looked like there were maybe creatures coming out. My notes kind of.
He was very clear he was going to get. I think he was trying to get like a piece of the substance of Zoriat itself, and he was very clear that this was going to be groundbreaking and change everything. And it was sort of, to the layman who was not as specialized as he, entirely clear other things were going to come through. And then these black forms started to come through.
So basically what happened is this thing stepped forward. It originally looked like a sphere of blackness that was so deep that it appeared to be a two-dimensional object, though it obviously occupied three-dimensional space. But then it started to ripple, and then this creature came forth with a triangular-shaped head and indents for eyes. And I will actually show you what it is that came forth.
It looks like one of those black things from Kingdom Hearts.
Well, no. That is what those guys are. What dripped off of it. So it looked like this inky tar came to life and through it, and the drops that fell off of it formed into these creatures. But the big one is this.
Ah, beautiful. Okay.
I don't know what that is. It looks like a Funko Predator or something.
Alien.
Yeah. That
Alien
That's
Queen.
Predator.
you read
The
my
Alien Queen.
read my mind, Kurt.
But the only difference being that it has a couple of dents where eyes would be. And then so what happened is from its back, a tendril, which you now realize is probably the tail, reached out for Hurtlekin and wrapped around him and grabbed him. Only it seemed to pass through his flesh without even touching him, and instead grappled some sort of glowing energy and pulled it out of him, and it was in the shape of Hurtlekin. It was a kind of ghostly outline of his energy, and it seemed to be screaming, although silently, as it was being pulled from his body. And you can see where the tail was touching seemed to be like these veins of darkness kind of spreading out and radiating into this energy form. Very similarly to Final Fantasy, The Spirits Within,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
if you guys are familiar.
Mhm.
And then actually brought him, like pulled him into her form, the monster's form, and you can kind of see at various instances it seems like something from within is kind of trying to push out from her chest as if it's like one of those rubber sheets and it's trying to press itself out. And Hurtlekin's body has just collapsed to the floor, seemingly lifeless. His assistant, Joffrey, who also looks exactly like the person that had the giant helmet that was trying to insert thoughts into Elmorn and Ivar's brains, and also one of the students that you saw climbing the various stacks in the Library of the Plains. And he is there. And he's terrified. He's screaming. He hides behind a shelf. And so this room, it's a rather large room. It's somewhat circular with high ceiling, no windows of any kind, a couple of stacks of books, a desk, what looks to be a work area or some kind of laboratory, but the main space within the room, which is next to this giant creature and it's the minions that have dripped from its form, is this big black portal, which is once this creature has come through it, is returned to its seemingly two-dimensional shape. And it's kind of a stabilized portal, it looks like. But there are a couple of pillars of dragonshards, and it looks like some equipment, magical eldritch machines that are kind of maintaining the stability of the portal. And so you notice that there are probably each of the creatures that dripped off of it and kind of formed out of this goop are probably about 1.5 feet, 2 feet tall. They're big enough to bite at your shins, but they are vicious-looking creatures, and they immediately run at you and in all other directions. And there seems to be probably about a dozen of them. I mean, it's you don't have time to count exact numbers, but there's a good number of them. And then additionally, you hear this kind of, you don't quite hear, you don't quite feel, but there's this sense within your mind, this kind of, it's almost like a song, and it's almost like a feeling, and it's almost like a just something very visceral, but it is causing you a great amount of pain. And it seems to be emanating from this creature because it came, you noticed it starting within you as this creature came forth into the world. and it's quite painful. So before we even roll initiative, everybody takes 15 points of psychic damage.
Alrighty.
So with that, we'll roll initiative.
Yep.
Holy shit.
How is the description?
Oh, damn it. It's a good
I'm
description.
petrified.
I got 15.
6.
18.
Oh.
Then what you roll for Elmorn?
You rolled a 7. And then Peitri, what did you get?
18.
And Eivar, what did you get? Eivar, what did you get?
15.
Okay. All right, so here's the order. The creatures that I will lovingly, for now, refer to as the Inkies are first. Peitri is next. The big monster is after Peitri. Then it's Eivar, Elmorn, and Marthow. So, the Inkies will start, and just to make sure that you guys remember what they look like, I will bring up a picture really quick. But as I said, there's about a dozen of them that have dripped from this thing's form. So they immediately, several of them go to Elmorn and begin sort of attempting to latch on to him. A few more go towards Marthow. A couple of others are running past towards. So the way that I have it set up right now, just so you guys have an understanding or a visual, Elmorn, you guys are you're grouped together, but kind of off kilter a little bit. So Elmorn is towards the front. Marthow, you're a little bit behind and to his left. Peitri, you are a little bit behind them. And Eivar, you're at the back of all of that.
So a close chevron formation?
Actually, ready? Let me help you guys.
No, it's more like a diamond.
Kind of like that.
Yeah, I see.
And then so there's a couple more that are running past those guys, but not quite getting to their target. And then others are kind of wandering around the room, and a couple are even appearing to head towards the kid that was in the room.
Yeah, Johnny did tell us to run, and I told him to run and get help. But I don't think he did. He just
He's crying. Yeah.
I actually don't remember exactly what I said that kid did, but he may have gotten the run, but not the get help in his mind. So, Marthow, you have two of these guys attacking you. So the first one, as it approaches you, the first one kind of both of its arms launch out as if they're like almost liquid, formless tentacles that kind of lash out towards you. The first one is a 20, not natural. And then the second one is a 17.
They both hit.
All right.
Oh, wait.
So the first one does 3 damage. The second one does 5 damage. And then, but you notice the first one kind of hits you and wraps around your waist, and you kind of feel this sensation of a strange kind of cold almost, and it's kind of radiating out from where it's touching you. But the other one, it launches its arm, which almost kind of looks like a pointed tentacle, and it launches it into your shadow, actually, and strikes into your shadow, and you feel a sudden piercing at your back, and a sense of cold radiating from your back there. And so right now you are considered grappled.
Okay.
In addition to taking that damage. And then the other one does the same, similar. After this other one kind of hits you, the other one that's coming at you kind of uses the first one to kind of launch itself up, climbing up its back, and leaps at your chest. And then 20 hits.
Yep.
You said?
Yeah, 20 hits.
Not natural. And this one kind of hits you right in the chest and just wraps around you, further like restraining you in this kind of grapple and causing this sensation of cold. And it also, it's not just a feeling of temperature, but a feeling of dread and also uncertainty and an amplification of whatever this psychic scream that is emanating across the room, dealing an additional 7 damage to you.
So it's a total of 15 between all the attacks?
Let me see.
Because it was 5 plus
5 is 11. 11 plus 6 is 17. No, wait. 11 plus 7, right? Did I say 7?
I thought you said 5, 3, and then now 7.
Okay. We'll go with that. So, 5, 3, and 7 is 15. So 15 damage. And it's cold damage.
Okay.
The other creatures have not yet made it to Eivar or Peitri, although they are running towards you guys. The ones that are fighting Elmorn is doing his best to fend them off, but And although he's been managed to dodge a couple of them, and then one of them he just like used his halberd to cut its arm off before it could touch him. One of them did strike him. And then so now we have Peitri, the big monster, and Eivar. So Peitri, you're up.
How big is the big monster?
It's about 15 feet tall.
And where'd that little redhead kid go?
He ran behind a desk that is to your left and behind you.
Okay. I'm gonna storm over to him and grab him by the shirt, lift him up, and just look into it, like look at him and just say, "You better shut this goddamn portal up."
And you can see he is frightened. His teeth are chattering. His ears and nose are both bleeding from whatever it is that you guys are enduring while this creature is in the room. And he just says, I don't know what to do. I'm just an apprentice. I don't know. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. I don't know.
And then I slap him right in the face.
Ah!
Yeah, that's right. And then Peitri says, "What happens if we knock down one of those pillars?"
I don't know. I didn't set any of this up. I'm just studying here.
I said, "You better learn quick," and I just throw him in front of me, which is closer to the monster, and I start to move over to one of the pillars.
All right. All right, so you get about halfway there, but that also brings you closer to the monsters that are coming at you as well.
That's fine. Yeah, I understand.
All right, so now the big creature kind of looks around, and it just kind of, and it sees you guys, but it almost seems like it ignores you. It doesn't seem really concerned with anything that's going on. It's just kind of like looking around, almost curiously, like it has some kind of curiosity. And it actually walks over to one of the pillars and touches it, which causes a zap to flow through it and pulls its arm away. And then it starts just kind of going in close and looking at it. Eivar, you're next.
Okay. So did it seem like it was hurt by the zap?
That would be a safe assumption. I mean, there you saw the flash of the zap and it pulled itself away, but it's also continuing. It's not like it seems to be afraid of it or anything.
Right now, though, how many are grappling Marthow?
2.
All right, I'm gonna. Well, I'll take my first regular shot at one of the 2 that are grappling Marthow, and I pull an arrow out and begin to notch it. But an inky black arrow starts to form and coat the other arrow, which eventually just drops to the ground, leaving just the impression of an inky, dripping arrow in my bow. And I got a 21.
That'll hit.
And it's within 5 feet of him, so I get my sneak attack damage. That's hold on. It's been a while since I've shot at anything. That's 15 piercing damage.
Nice.
And then I'm going to do the same thing. It's a 23.
Are your arrows considered magical?
Yes.
Okay. So with that, this thing is kind of wrapped around Marthow, around his chest, but its head is kind of up over its shoulder, kind of looking at him, kind of off center, like. and you notch your arrow and you pierce through its skull. And after that, the arrow kind of zooms past it, embedding itself in the far wall of the room, and the thing kind of loses its form and falls to the ground into a black, viscous puddle at Marthow's feet.
The second one I got, I did 9 points of damage. So I guess it's the second one.
So that one, the Inky died before that happened, but from where you are, you can't get a bead on the other creature because it's like you're behind Marthow and it's in front of Marthow.
Okay, then I will target one of the ones coming at me.
Okay.
That's my turn.
So what was your attack?
Hey guys, if you have any electricity attacks, maybe that would work. Didn't seem to know it getting shocked.
If I'm grappled, I just can't. I can still talk, correct?
Right, you can talk. The only thing is that you really just can't move.
Okay.
Eivar, what did you say that your attack was for the second attack?
It's piercing damage.
No, but what was your attack roll?
9, 23 or 24.
Okay, and that was 9 damage?
Yeah.
Okay. So that one, the arrow hits into the thing, and it kind of almost like it ripples as if it's about to lose its form, but then it solidifies again, and it looks at you real angrily, and is coming at you faster. All right. Elmorn is next. So Elmorn has 2 of these inkies on him. He's trying to fight them off as best he can. And with one of them, he hits one with the butt of his halberd, causing it to knock back a couple of feet from him. The other one, he follows up with kind of a piercing strike right through it that embeds the blade through it and into the solid stone ground. And then that one just kind of melts as well.
Cool.
All right. Marthow.
So since I'm not physically grappled, what's the how would I go about breaking this?
Do you want me to throw it out?
No,
Throw it out tomorrow.
I might use it later.
I'm implying that it's going to be there tomorrow for me to throw it out.
Probably. I apologize, guys.
Okay.
A little bit of a domestic. Sorry, what did you say?
Since I'm not physically grappled, but was more grappled like through the this cold thing, like how do I break out of it? Do I break out of it like a normal grapple?
Yeah, you can do either athletics or dexterity check. That would count as your action if you wanted to try that.
Can I use an action point to break out of the grapple instead?
You can use an action point to take an extra action, and you would be able to do that.
All right, I'm gonna give that a go.
All right, so that's going to be an opposed check. So,
all right, acrobatics. 20.
14. You got 20 what?
22.
All right, so You, despite the weird pain and cold that is radiating from your spine, you manage to. Well, you describe how you do it.
Oh, hold on. All right. Despite feeling kind of stiffened, the being taken kind of taken by surprise fills Marthow with a hot rage, which burns away the cold, and he shakes it off by doing a barrel roll. So he kind of is standing there, and he like barrel rolls forward and or sideways, I guess. And he feels his limbs again.
Okay.
And he turns towards the other little creature that was attacking him, and he's going to fire a chaos bolt at it.
All right, bring it.
And that's a 14.
It's a miss.
That's fine. And then I'm going to cast use my bonus action to cast a bardic inspiration on Eivar.
Okay, Eivar, you have a bardic inspiration for yourself. So describe how you inspire Eivar.
After Ivar's great shot, and his cheering, his upbeat attitude, despite what's going on, Marthow chants to him, "Ivar is the man. Ivar is the man. If anybody can do it, Eivar can."
I love it.
And hopefully Martha hopes that Eivar feels somewhat inspired after that.
Well, how could he not?
So you get a D6, I think?
Yeah. Those start out as D6. All right. So you guys have managed to kill 2 of the Inkies so far. Peitri is currently running towards the portal. A couple of the Inkies are in position to intercept Peitri. Eivar is loosing arrows at these things, definitely causing them pain and mayhem. Elmorn is looking to be successful, although his hands are still tied. And this creature seems to be continuing to investigate what these pillars are. And with that, we're going to start the round again. And everybody takes 15 psychic damage because of this continued psychic noise or scream or whatever it is that continues to impact your brain space. So now the Inkies are up first. Peitri is next. The monster is in the hole. So Eivar, you have 2 Inkies that approach you and close within melee range. Each of them launching into you similarly to how they did with Marthow. Some seeming to attack your shadow, the others attacking your body. So the first one, unless you have a 10 AC, they miss. for the first one. And then the second one, one will strike with a 22.
Yep.
All right. And you take 7 cold damage from that. So you can describe the attack and how you're able to dodge for the first 3 attempts, if you'd like.
I like to think they're lashing out with these black tentacles of theirs, and this newly positioned rune I have on my arm that recently absorbed some of the black pool. As they come out, a little wisp of black smoke sort of comes out and whacks away their tentacles as they come in, but can't move quickly enough to get to the fourth one.
Nice. Elmorn is continuing to deal with his, which seems to strike him right in the neck, nicking him. Blood is beginning to flow freely from it, but not in any way that seems to be, mortal or deadly, but concerning nonetheless. And then the one that Marthow launched the Chaos Bolt at, it dodged under the Chaos Bolt, seeming to almost split into 2, and then coming back together, and then launching at your face with its vicious white teeth, which are in stark contrast to the rest of its dark, shadowy, liquid body. 13?
I'm gonna. So that hits. That matches my DC, but I'm gonna use Ben Luck as my reaction, and
Okay.
to reduce that by 5, so it doesn't hit.
All right. And then there's actually another one that comes from the side to meet Elmorn. Not Elmorn, I'm sorry, Eivar. Uh, 17 and 19.
Okay.
Both hit. So, 9 more cold damage to you, and then also, the one tentacle seems to wrap around your neck. The other impacts into your shadow, similarly to how you saw Marthow, and causes you to feel like you can't move as well as you were. So you're being grappled.
Okay.
And then Peitri, you have 1, 2, 3.
Did any get distracted by the little redhead kid who I threw in that direction?
1.
Oh, phew, 1.
But you have 3 of these guys on you currently, and each of them lash out with their tentacles, their tentacle arms. First attack is a 17.
Miss. Nice.
That misses. Natural 20, and then that one misses. So with the natural 20 to confirm the critical, he gets 22.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so critical is confirmed. So double max damage,
Yes,
which
that's too much.
is going to be. Where did my notes go for these guys? There they are. So 14 cold damage, and then a roll on the chart.
I'll be right there.
Dun, dun, dun. 42. You are immobilized until
Oh, what the fuck?
the end of your next turn.
Well, for game for knowledge sake, I am on my vitality points right now, which is reduced by half, so I'm pretty fucked.
Wait, you're already on vitality?
Yeah, because all those things which I kept killing kept on taking down my max health. I already was 20 down from 60. I then took took 30 damage from psychic. So then that's all it needed to put me into vitality, which is half. Because of the sword, which has fucked me.
Wait a minute.
And now I'm immobilized, so I can't even heal.
No, I'm not saying immobilizes. You can't like move with your feet.
Okay.
You're not paralyzed or stunned. You just can't move
Mhm.
that way. But wait a minute.
I've lost
You
20
started
health.
out.
I had 64 health. And then I've lost 20 max health from using the sword 4 times. And then I just lost 30 health from the psychic damage, and now the crit is enough to put me into vitality.
Oh, well,
Which
well,
is-
well, no. So any additional that goes over what your HP is doesn't go into vitality points. It's
Yeah, I
not
know,
until-
but I've already got, like, because, you know, we've all got 20 vitality points. Well, I've only got 10 because of the sword.
Wait, did the sword take away your vitality points as well?
Yeah, and permanent health whenever it kills something.
I don't remember making it that bad. Apparently,
Yeah, it
I
was
did
like
though. All right. So you're at 10 vitality points
Yeah.
left, and you can't move. You can act, but you can't move. So do you want to describe how this one attack out of the 6?
Well,
Because
yeah.
there were 6 that came out at you. You defended against all but one, but this one that
Yeah.
got through.
So
seems
I'm
to-
swinging wildly, and these things are getting knocked over to the side. But this one sees the exposed wound, which I've been holding like this whole time, and just jumps straight into it. And I just drop. I was like, ugh, and just start shuddering.
So it's not even a form anymore. It's kind of like it's attached to your breastplate and pierced through the metal and seems to be
Inside of me.
oozing around you, almost like a vest of inky blackness.
Yeah, this is cool.
All right. Hopefully you won't have to roll up a new character. Let's see.
Got this.
There is a chance we all will.
There is a chance.
Half health. Well below half health.
So I guess I'm immobilized, so I can't walk. That's the downside to this thing. Okay.
Right. So
Well,
it's your turn now.
Uh-huh.
The one that's going after the kid is running away. And so he's putting some distance between him and this inky. And he's managing to do it okay for now. But it's catching up fast.
So I had this cool plan if I wasn't immobilized, where I'd use spirit guardians and just fucking run everywhere with it on. So I'd just kill everything around me. But now I can't walk, so I can probably kill the 3 around me. And then die to the psychic damage this turn.
Point to try to break free and still do your plan.
No. I've got the crit. The crit did that, maybe, so I can't move.
Well, like I say, you can use action points
How
creatively.
many action? I've got 3, don't I?
Everybody starts with 4.
Heal yourself.
4. Got 4. Okay.
And yeah, you can use the action points to heal yourself as a free action.
Okay. So I have a bit of a strange idea. This isn't exactly how this spell works, but I want to see if it can creatively work. So I've got Revivify, which brings back a Revivify, that one. I'm thinking if I can like move. No. Okay. I'll use Revivify in a way that if I do go down, so like because I obviously use it on other people, but if I can use it on myself, that if I do go down, I'll come back with 1 hit point.
Like a contingency spell?
Yeah, yeah. But
You also you remember that you have that bonus action boon that you can use, right?
Yeah, that little one which gives me bonus health.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
So you have that as well. So for an action point, I will let you cast Revivify. You'll describe how it's going to last, how you're going to store it, so that if your life force does get snuffed out, how you're going to bring yourself back. But I can accept that.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll do that. So the way that I do it is that I like use the power and store it inside of like that gem. Well, there's not that gem anymore, but like the hilt of my sword. So if I do go down, I can like hit it or whatever, and then that'll restore some life into me.
Okay.
Yeah, unless my sword gets taken away, then I die.
Oh, you're doing my job for me, giving me ideas.
Yeah.
Clearly wants you dead.
I don't know where to go.
Okay, so you use an action point to cast Revivify.
Yeah.
And store it in your sword.
Yeah.
And Revivify is an action.
Yeah, that's an action.
So do you want to use more action points to do other
more
things?
action points. More
And
action
do
points.
you also have a move action, which you cannot use because you're immobilized, and you have your bonus action?
Yeah. Okay. So here's one of them.
And action points can be used to heal.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Let me bring up that little...
I see you added some notes to action points.
Did I?
Well, I just noticed them.
Let's see. So action points can be used to roll any d20.
Yeah.
They can be used to take an additional action or bonus action. They can be used as a free action to heal yourself, up to half your hit dice, plus your constitution for each action point used in that way. And then you can also use your action points for creative ways.
Okay. So I'm then going to use a second level spell to cast Cure Wounds. So that'll.
So you're using another action point to use another action, and you're using it to cast. Okay.
Yeah. And then that will. Let me just roll up how much healing that does.
You may get more healing if you use the action point to heal yourself and spend hit dice.
You reckon? No, because I've got like the healer life domain thing as well, and that's pretty buffed up at the moment. Yeah, so that got me +6. 10 plus. What other spell was that? 2. So I heal.
So
23.
FYI, any healing magic brings you back to your full vitality, and then healing only goes into your HP. So you heal 23 HP.
Yeah.
And you're at full vitality.
Which is 10. Gotcha. And then I've got one more action point.
Well, you've used 2.
Yeah, let's
have
blast
4.
the last 5, 4. Yeah, let's blast the last one. We'll put that into we'll cast Spirit Guardians. And I'll go divine damage.
Oh, wait a minute. No, wait. Did I say? Wait, you guys have 3 or 4 action points per session?
4.
Because I have here on my house rules that is 3. Did I give you 4?
You gave us 4 because you thought we used to have 3, and then you gave us 4
That's right. Yes.
because
So I
it
need
ended up being working out or something. I don't remember.
I remember that. So yeah, you guys do have 4. I just need to update this document.
Yeah, now I'm going to use Spirit Guardians. So everything around me has to do a Wisdom saving throw. Within a 15-foot radius.
That's only the 3 in front of you.
Yep.
So wisdom saving throw, you say?
Yes.
First one is a 9. Second one is a 14. Third one is a 14.
Fail. All right, 3d6 for the 3 of them. 14 damage each.
They're all hurt very badly. You can see them like struggling to maintain the solidity of their forms, but they are still all up.
Okie dokie. All right.
So you got one more action point if you want to use it.
Yeah, no, I might save it just in case.
Okay. Dun dun dun.
That was the most Hank Hill. Ooh! That hurt.
All right, this massive monster is starting to interact with the pillar, touching it despite the energy that is arcing and crossing across its skin as it does so. And you can see from the monster's chest that Hurtlekin, or what you assume is Hurtlekin's spirit energy or soul or however you define what it is that you saw, seems to be fighting even harder against the pressure of the skin and trying to push forward. But the creature is definitely taking a very strong interest in that pillar. Eivar, you're up. Elmorn on deck, Marthow in the hole.
There are 3 of them around me now.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to take.
And you also have your bardic inspiration.
Right. Good to remember that, because I'm at disadvantage on all these shots. I'll take a shot. First shot, the one that I injured last time, and almost certainly miss with 12.
Yeah, it misses.
And then I'll do a second shot at the same one. That's better. That's a 18.
That hits.
10 points of piercing damage.
Describe how it goes down.
So this one, I missed with the first shot. The inky arrow doesn't even come close because I'm grappled and struggling against these things. But with the second one, almost just by chance, as I'm struggling against it, the bow just happened to level out at the right spot when I release, and happens to have caught it right where I would imagine an eye would be. But awesome. I'm gonna bonus action. I'm gonna use my second wind. 10 hit points back. Good.
All right.
That's my turn.
And then also don't forget about your new reaction ability too, if you want to take advantage of that. All right. So is that your turn?
Yeah, that's my turn.
All right. Now it is Elmorn. And he's putting up as much of a fight as he can, but these things seem to be slipping under his halberd, and he's not making much progress in terms of being able to deal with them. Marthow, you're up.
So just a quick question. I got up for a sec. Ivar, did you break free? Break free?
No, I'm still grappled.
Okay. Question, does the belt of the blinking knight, do I move 30 feet in any direction like a night crawler, or is it like 30 feet on the ground? Okay. How far away
Three-dimensional.
from Peitri and Eivar respectively am I?
So you're probably within 10, 15 feet of Eivar. Peitri is a good 30 feet from you.
Okay. Is Eivar between myself and Peitri?
No. Peitri is kind of behind you and to your right. Or if you were facing the big monster, he's behind you and to the right. And then Peitri would be to your left.
Okay. So how many little creatures are left? A bunch?
Eight.
The inkies?
8 of these inkies.
Is there any particularly on me right now or close to me?
Yeah, 1.
Okay. In the room, is there are there any high ledges or tables that appear to be within view? Or just like tables in generals?
No, definitely there are some within view. Whether they're within 30 feet of view is another story. Because where you are is kind of like an empty sort of space that leads up to this eldritch machine contraption that Hurtlekin seems to have designed. And then kind of towards your left are some desks and some books, and then to your right would be his what appears to be like a more chemistry type laboratory setup, but nothing within 30 feet that is something that you could necessarily jump onto.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to move, 15 feet away, away from, kind of to take a step back, away from the action a little bit.
Okay.
And I'm going to, so I run there, and I'm going to use a 3rd level spell slot and 3 sorcery points, and I'm going to twin spell a 3rd level chaos bolt. I'm going to hit the big guy, and I'm going to hit, see, this is a 120 foot, so I'm going to hit one of the creatures that's on Eivar.
Okay.
How far away from Peitri is Eivar?
Eivar is 45 feet from Peitri.
Okay. How many creatures are on Peitri?
3.
How many creatures are on Eivar?
2. And 2 on Elmorn, although he seems to be faring a bit better.
Peitri.
All right, then I'll hit one of the creatures on Peitri then.
All right. Can you guys give me a second?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a slight break.
Be back.
So what have you been up to, man? What's been new?
So I'm on uni break at the moment, and I found work, and I've just been getting slammed. I've just been so damn busy.
Making good money though?
That's all right. It's pretty average. But the hours I do, I guess it makes up for it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Warehousing or whatever. It's just heavy work, I guess. What about you, man?
I've been good.
Yeah.
On break as well.
Yeah.
I started grad school in the fall. So it's been good. Work busy.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I apologize about that. Lisa was leaving for work. 1 second.
I assume so.
All right. So,
Twin kick.
yeah.
And we're gonna do 2 here.
Wait, is this the Chaos Bolt cantrip or is this the Chaos?
Chaos Bolt level 1. It's the level 1 spell, but I'm rolling it as a level 3.
Okay.
And
You're
I'm
going
twinning.
big.
And it's twin. And I rolled 2 15s, so that's 22s.
Are you hitting both with the monster, or
One
hitting
of
the other one somewhere?
I'm hitting 1 on the big monster, and then 1 on one of the little things on Peitri.
Okay. I'm sorry. What were the values again?
22s. I got two 22s.
All right, those both easily hit. So one of the ones on Peitri get killed.
Okay.
But you still have to roll your damage because they might spring off, right?
Yeah. So this one is
if you roll dual numbers, it springs off.
So I gotta roll 4. All right, so This is the one for Peitri's character, and it didn't spring off. It just killed it. And this is the one for the big guy. And it didn't spring off either, but it does, let's see, 15, 20, 26. 26. See, it's see. My chromatic table has thunder twice. Must be a typo.
Probably.
So we'll do 26 thunder damage to the big creature. And
Okay.
as since I hit him with that, I'm gonna hit him. I'm gonna cast warp reality on him, which I think is a bonus action. It doesn't say what we decided it to be.
It's nothing. It's a free action if it hits.
So the big creature is gonna have the reality warped around him.
Okay. So before I describe what happens to the big creature, you can go ahead and describe how the little one dies.
So Marthow runs back, and then out of his fists come two concussive forces, and the sound waves punch through. Was there a creature on Peitri?
3 of them.
Like on top of him?
Oh, that one? Yeah, there was.
So, in a similar situation to the arrow with me, the concussive force of the sound just rippled through him and splattered him around, leaving inky guts everywhere.
Okay.
And then you can describe to the big creature.
So your bolt of thunderous energy ripples through the air and impacts the creature right inside of the head, knocking it off balance. And then the strange forces that you command warp the reality around it so that the ground is kind of gooey around it, and anything that it touches is kind of strangely manifested so that it's not quite the same texture or consistency that one would expect. However, the creature reacts, it turns at you, towards you, and it hisses, and then it seems that it pulls itself together, and the energy, there's a sort of energy around it that you see beginning in the creature's chest. The outline of Hurtlekin can be seen, glowing a faint blue, and then like wisps of energy kind of ribbon off from him and then surround the creature and seem to dispel this effect that you have on it. And it looks at you, and it kind of screeches its mouth open, revealing these ivory white teeth and this saliva that drips from it freely. And where the drips happen, more of the 3 more of these inkies come into being and launch themselves towards you. They don't get to you, but they are halfway between you and the creature.
As a bonus action, or as my bonus action, I'm going to pull out my Shadow Blade, and a shadowy creature comes out of the blade, and I'm just kind of staying there, like, ready.
Okay. You definitely hurt the thing, though. It does seem like it's kind of wobbly on its feet a little bit. And then that's the start of the next round. This psychic scream is continuing. Everybody takes 15 psychic damage. Where is everybody's HP currently?
I have 32.
8.
0.
Seriously?
Those psychic things hurt.
45 damage.
All right.
I have all my full vitality though.
Okay. So first, it's the Inkies that are gonna go. The two on Peitri attack him, continuing to work to wrap their tendrils around him and his shadow. 14, natural 1, so chance for critical fail. Natural 20, chance for critical hit.
Were there only 2?
And then
Marthow killed one.
yes, I'm working for a dead one. So you have one that has a natural 1, and then the other has a natural 20. So we'll resolve the natural 1 first. Does a 21 hit?
Yes.
All right, so that one just misses. And then so I assume a 23 hits then. So that's a confirmed critical. I'm sorry. I'm honestly not trying to kill you. I swear. Just how the dice are rolling right now. So I'm gonna roll critical hit chart first. I got a 69.
Oh. Vitality reduced by 10.
No, in addition to taking 14 damage, you're also blinded until you're magically healed.
Oh, yeah, go Peitri.
So, Martha, we need you to push him around so that his spirit guardian.
I can't see anything.
So the one, you know, just misses, flailing at you. The other one strikes right into your eyes. And
By the way, I have to do a concentration check for the thingy. So I'll just do that real quick. And I failed, so it doesn't matter. Yep.
Wait, you failed your concentration check?
I got 4. Yeah.
You can use an action point to reroll that?
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay, I will. This is the last thing I'll be able to. Oh my god.
You got a 1, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Not 1.
It is not Peitri's night.
Peitri's.
His long-awaited return is not been.
Sure, it's gonna be snuffed out.
All right.
So yeah, it goes into my eyeballs.
Yeah, so it goes into your eyes, and you just feel a sharp pain in your head, and then just darkness everywhere. And you actually feel the thing's tentacle like splash into your face and kind of wrap around you, and it's also kind of suffocating you as well.
Okay.
You're able to hold your breath, but you won't have very long. So the 3 new ones are going to go towards Marthow, and they're going to be able to cross that distance. Elmorn, or well, it's not Elmorn's turn yet, but the 2 against Elmorn, they both miss. The 2 against Ivar. There's only one of them that strikes with a 22.
That hits, but at the moment he hits, I'm going to say that was a mistake. And then I'm going to use my belt of misdirection to transpose myself on the big monster.
Well, your belt of misdirection, it's randomly
Okay.
done.
Then I will use it randomly switch with someone.
So it's there are, let's see how many combatants there are.
There's also a Peitri.
Yeah. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4.
So is
5,
this
6.
the belts of misdirection? Is this all combatants or is this just enemies?
Right. The way I have it written down says I swap places with an enemy.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just make sure about that.
Plan if I was going to throw Peitri into this.
Yeah, it would be it would be enemies. I know how I would write up that magic item. It would be enemies. All right, so there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 potential enemies. So I'm assigning each one a number. All right, roll a d10.
1.
So you suddenly swap yourself with one that is to the left of Marthow. So you are right next to Marthow now. So it's you, Marthow, and 2 of these inkies, and then the 3 where you were. There's now 3 inkies, and one of them is getting hit by the other inky, which causes that inky to disintegrate. And then Marthow, you now only have 2 inkies on you.
Okay.
And first one misses. You don't have a 15 doesn't hit you, right?
15 makes the action. It makes it, so it does.
Okay, so one of those hit. And then a 22 hits you, correct?
Yes.
So the first one is a 4, the second one is a 7. So 11 cold damage against you.
Okay.
Actually, yeah, no, they would be hitting you because they were manifested from the big monster after you hit it, so they would be focused on you. All right. Inkies are done. Peitri is up. The monster is on deck. Eivar in the hole.
So
Peitri, you're no longer immobilized, but you are blind.
Okay. And I've got, like, from what I remember, there's one in my eyes and there's one beside me or something.
No, that one that was wrapped around your chest was knocked off by Marthow.
Okay. So there's 2 then. So there's one which is
2 right next to you.
Okay, right next to me. Gotcha. Okay. Well, the alien thing goes next, doesn't it?
It does.
All right. Let's. Yeah, there he is. Freaking hell! I need to see everything.
Could always hold your action too.
Yeah, but I'll die when the alien goes. Let's. All right, so I'll use my bonus action to restore the 3 health.
Okay.
So that's cool. I'm not going to die. I then will cast. I'm sure it's just burning spells. All right, let's just go. I'm going to cast Lesser Restoration on myself so I can see again.
Okay.
That takes an action. Use my bonus action. There's things around me, but I can't do anything about them. All right, that's my turn. I'm done.
I mean, you could try to rush through them. You
Yeah,
may draw attacks of opportunity, but I've never known Peitri to not be ballsy.
Where's he gonna run? Like he's gonna run away? Is he gonna run to the pillar?
Where you originally were trying to run to before you got knocked out and blinded.
All right. Let's go suicidal Peitri mode. We're just gonna go to the pillar, and if it reacts to him when he touches it, he's just gonna start climbing it. Oh no. He's like, if it doesn't react, he'll climb it. If it does react, he'll do something. I'm not sure yet, so we'll find out. So let's take those attacks. Peitri runs.
Both miss.
Oh,
The dice cards are once more on your side, at least for now.
Mm-hmm. And I run over to the pillar.
So the pillar doesn't react to you or your touch at all, but you are face to face with this monster. It is 15 feet looming over you, and watching you carefully as you approach.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm going to climb this pillar. I'm going to try and get to the top.
Okay. So you don't have any movement left, but if you give me an athletics check, we'll see if you can do some extra movement.
Okay. Athletics. This is my jam. All right. 15 plus whatever it is. We'll find out. Athletics is 6, I'm pretty sure. Oh, it's 4. So 19.
Okay. So that's good enough. The pillar is also 15 feet tall, so you can climb to the top of it.
Okay, cool. And then I use my action point to attack the big alien thing.
You don't have any more action points.
Don't I?
You had 1 left.
I have 1 left.
Did you?
Yeah, this is the kamikaze life point thing. I'm jumping at its face.
Wait a minute. I thought you used your action point for your concentration check.
Oh, shit, you're right. Yep, okay. All right, I'm just on top of the thing. All right. Well, we know what's going to happen.
No, we don't. But you're always welcome to guess. So Peitri.
I look at Elmorn and say, "Hey, give me them inspiration points, please." Fair enough. All right, that's where Peitri ends.
So the queen looks at you and begins to raise its arm as if it's going to reach out to you. But as it does that, you see a sudden flash and its arm is gone. And that's when you realize that Elmorn has used the power of his new halberd to reach through space and make it so that it's long enough to chop it off. And because he has a sentinel feat that I hate so much, with him attacking you, he's able to stop it from doing it. And the thing turns to him and hisses, and the arm falls to the floor and continues to writhe. Ivar, you're up. Elmorn is on deck. Marthow, in the hole.
Okay. First, I'm going to use a bunch of things here, but first I'm going to. How many are around Marthow, or what? How many are right next to me?
2. One is directly in melee. The other one is 5 feet outside melee.
Okay, so first I guess I will disengage and back up. Then I'm going to use an action surge to attack the 2 that are on Marthow. First one.
Okay.
I'm going to 1 at each. First one was a 23.
That hits.
The second one is a 20.
That also hits.
The one is moved. 13 points of piercing damage to the one in melee with him. And then 10 points of magical piercing damage to the other one.
They're both, their forms are unstable, but still holding steady.
Then I'll use an action point to get another action. And
Okay.
try it again. That's an 18 and a 27.
Both hit.
13 magical piercing to the first one, and 12 magical piercing to the second one.
All right. Both of them turn into puddles. If you want to describe it, you can.
So I dodge and weave to sort of disengage without them being able to attack me, backing up about 10 feet, and then just in very rapid fire go doof, 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 piercing both of them directly through their center, causing both of them just to sort of expand out almost like puffs of smoke, and then they're gone.
Excellent. All right. So Eivar is pissed. He begins glowing with holy energy as he strikes at the 2 inkies that are surrounding him. And as he strikes each one, not only does he connect truly, but he also infuses his halberd with the magical energy of his sense of vengeance and purpose and his faith in his cause, causing both to not just dissolve into puddles, but to explode in magical fire and fizzle into nothing but vapor. So unlike the other inkies, there's nothing that remains of these ones. And then with that, he moves forward to the big monster next to Marthow. Or not Marthow, Peitri.
Oh, he's on the pillar next to me. Awesome.
Yeah.
Who's on the pillar next to you?
Elmorn.
Elmorn.
Okay.
Marthow, you are up. Inkies on deck, Peitri in the hole.
All right.
Give me a wisdom. Everybody, give me a wisdom check. We're gonna do a little bit of intuition here.
18.
12.
What was yours, Eivar?
8.
Oh. All right. Peitri. Email coming.
Yeah. It says, lol, you're dead.
Another email coming.
All right.
It actually said, lol, you're dead.
So
Worst that can happen is we die and this becomes the second Mornland.
Ooh.
So I'm gonna cast fly on myself,
Oh, hell yeah.
or cast fly, I guess. I am the willing creature, so I'm gonna cast fly on myself. And I'm going to fly to Peitri, which I have a movement speed of 60 when I'm flying. So I think I should be able to make it to Peitri. So then I'm going to use an action point. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an action, and that action is going to be a so I'm going to use while I'm flying, I'm going to put away my hilt, my shadow blade. I'm going to pull out my my free took wand of Durasco, and I'm going to when I reach Peitri, I'm going to cast Twin to Cure Wounds as a level 2 spell. So
and now that you have actual cure magic, the real powers take place with that wand.
Yep. So
interesting.
We both gain 15. So that puts me back up to my vitality of full vitality.
And then 15 hit points.
Except Peitri.
Yeah. Well done.
And
that's a good choice with the bard getting the cure wounds and being able to utilize that.
So yeah. I just realized that. I'm gonna use another action point. And I'm gonna do the same thing, except I'm gonna amp it up to a level 2 spell slot.
Mm-hmm.
So then both Peitri, let's see. Yeah, Peitri and I both gain 16 plus 7, so it's 23 hit points.
Okay.
Pulling me out of the negatives and hopefully pulling Peitri back into life.
Yeah, very much so. I'm almost at I'm 1 hit point away from being my maximum.
So I'll say that's my turn.
All right. So are you out of action points then now?
I have 1 more.
Okay. And then now it is back to the top of the round. Beginning of round 4. Everybody takes 15 psychic damage. Eivar, you don't have any inkies next to you. There are 2 remaining that are not too far away from where Elmorn was initially standing before he moved by the pillar. And you see one of them kind of so a little bit behind you and to your left, you see the apprentice. He is on the ground and seems to have his face and chest covered in this black viscous fluid that was an inky. And so the 2 inkies that are there, both of them head towards you. They don't have enough movement to be able to do anything except get to you, but they are right in your face now.
Okay.
And that's all the inkies that are left. Peitri, you're up.
Okay. Peitri suddenly realizes how mortal he is. And and thanks Marthow, who's floating so majestically next to him. But then he looks down at the beast, which is still riling around in pain, I'm guessing still, or is it up and staring at me?
No, it's up and staring at you, and it's also looking at the pillar and seeming to scan its surroundings as well.
Yeah. Well, though Peitri does have some divine wisdom from one email, of course, he is still going to jump off, and he's going to summon his spiritual weapon, which will hopefully like knock it towards him a little bit, which he'll then like plunge his sword into and hope to drive down into the ground.
Okay.
Okay.
So your spiritual weapon, I assume that you're casting it behind the creature?
Yeah.
All right. Give me your roll.
Okay. +6 is 18.
It's a hit.
Okay. And then damage. Oh, I'm moving it. So is this more so a just moving, or am I damaging it and moving it? I don't know.
What do you mean?
Because it's too far away to jump on, I'm assuming. Unless I can jump on it from here.
What do you mean? It's right next to the pillar.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, it strikes it and does 12 points of damage.
Okay.
And then Peitri jumps and goes to kill the thing. Well, attempts to.
Because you are jumping down and you're 15 feet up, I will say, and because this thing is so large, I will give you advantage on your attack, but you are also going to take falling damage and need to make a dexterity check to see if you don't land prone.
Okay. All right, so rolling an advantage to attack. I got 116 and 119. Fuck, one off. All right, 19 plus, I think it's like 6 or something at this point.
Hits.
Yeah, it hits. Yeah. The damage though. Hey, just wait a sec, man. Right. Roommate comes in and says, "Hey, dickhead." Alright, here we go. We got a D8 plus 5. So 14 points of whatever damage this sword does. And then I have to do a dexterity or athletic save, yeah?
We're going to make it a dexterity check.
Check.
Dexterity saving throw.
Okay. And yeah, no, that's a bad number. I got a 2. -1 is a 1.
All right. So you take falling damage equal to 5. You take 5 falling damage, and you land prone.
Okay.
Meanwhile, the sword impacts the creature, and it hisses. But as your sword touches it, it seems to react strangely, where there's like a steam or a smoke that emits from it, and its skin kind of bubbles away from it. It reacts very badly with your sword, and it kind of pulls itself away, and it screams very loudly. Everybody takes an additional 15 psychic damage from this sudden stress that the creature is under.
Damn it.
And then with that, the creature then seems to rip the spirit of Hurtlekin from its chest and throw it to the ground. Obviously, it being a form of energy, it doesn't seem to strike in the same way. It hits the ground, but then it instantly kind of seems to attract and zap itself into Hurtlekin's flesh. And then it jumps into the portal. And soon after that, there's a reaction with the eldritch machine. It begins to fizzle and bubble and melt as if it's overheating, and then and kind of slag, where the dragon shards and whatever other components of this machine just begin to melt into a kind of lava or magma. And soon after that, there are several flashes of light, and the portal then closes into just blinking out of existence, and whatever inkies remain standing dissolve and then eventually evaporate into nothing.
Meanwhile, Eivar is bleeding from his eyes and his ears, and then there's a trail of blood coming out of his mouth because he has 2 hit points left.
Yes, it's definitely a traumatic experience for everybody involved.
I prefer the
So it got away? It's gone?
It's gone, and the portal is closed.
I run
So
over to the
what-
kid and like start throttling him and say, "What the hell just happened?"
You throttle him?
Yeah, I throttle him.
He remains unconscious. You're just beating an unconscious kid. How does everybody else react?
Peitri, calm down. That's not his fault. Marthow's really tired, and he's like, floating down. He feels like he's just sore all over in places that he hasn't been sore in for years. And he kind of limps over to Eivar. And he casts a second level Cure Wounds. And I'm going to twin it, which is going to use the rest of my sorcery points. So both Eivar and I will will be healed for 23 hit points.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, that flying thing is pretty good. I should look into picking that up.
Well, it comes in handy. Being able to, if anything, I move a little bit faster when I fly than I do when I run, so as I'm twice as fast, which is always a boon. It seemed Peitri was kind of in need of some help, and I just imagine looking over and seeing Peitri just slam this unconscious kid up and down on the ground
Accurate.
Yeah.
Oh.
What the hell?
I'm not much one for the random wanton destruction, but we do kind of feel like maybe we should destroy everything in this room. So this can never happen again.
Yes. This place is torn apart.
Everybody give me a perception check.
That's a 4.
24.
I don't think last time
I think Peter's watching.
how was he?
I think so. I just got an email from him just 15 minutes ago. If Peitri drops dead, I am requesting to come through the portal to resurrect him.
Just gotta wait here.
Oh, that makes me happy.
That's great.
All right, so Eivar and Peitri, emails coming your way.
And I will say to people, you know, if your arms are getting tired, I can beat him up for a little while.
Yeah, I look at you and smile a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, that sounds good.
So I'll just start kicking him in the ribs.
All right, sent.
Oh, what the hell?
Oh,
It looks like that.
I'll go over and start kicking him in the ribs. Hurtlekin.
Yeah, yeah. Before I stop throttling him, noticing he's breathing.
So he reacts pretty instantly, unlike the other kid who's just out cold, even though he is also breathing. And he begins coughing and choking. And slowly his eyes flutter open, and he's like, oh. And he sits up, and he holds his head, and he says, What happened?
What happened is pretty much the interplanar research equivalent of this, and then I kick him against his stomach.
Oh, please, no more. And then he goes over to the side and begins throwing up pretty violently. Seems to be some blood mixed in with the normal, gastric juices.
In layman's terms, I think your soul was ripped from your body and pulled inside this thing from Zoriat that came through your portal.
No, wait. That thing, it was from Zoriat, but
In case Peter is watching also. He goes, no, wait. I brought that thing here, but I don't think it meant to hurt us. Well, it's not very good at not doing that.
No, but I brought it here, and I don't know exactly what happened, but when I was in there, I saw things. I couldn't understand it, but I got senses of feelings and thoughts, and it was overwhelming. It was like nothing I've ever experienced. It was a creature of mind so alien, so unlike us, but also it seemed distressed, disinterested. It didn't want to be here. It was just kind of feeling out its surroundings. It wasn't malicious. It was just wondering what it was, where it was, and I think it was trying to sing to us.
Oh, that would be The singing that causes your brain to leak out your ears?
I don't claim to understand what happened, but I could sense it. And I don't think it was trying to be lying or deceptive. I don't think it was capable of that. It didn't understand what was happening to it.
Well, that does seem to make sense. It never really attacked us. We attacked it.
These little inky things, dude.
The inky things did. Broken Kraw.
Yes,
Marthow,
but
the beautiful, at your service. Now tell me, do you know what these smaller creatures were?
although I don't know where I was, but I feel like I could see what was happening as if I was looking through the creature's senses. Those inky creatures, as you described them, perhaps they were similar to antibodies, like our own immune systems when we fight off a cold. They were just reactive, not necessarily under the creature's conscious control or thoughts, just kind of feeling out its surroundings, which actually makes so much sense. All of my studies about Zoriat, the plane of existence that it comes from, is so completely different and so completely alien from anything that we could even begin to comprehend. Of course, this creature wouldn't even know what we were, what we were trying to do. It's as if it's like trying to experience a five-dimensional creature in a three-dimensional space. How could we even begin to comprehend what we were looking at? And how could such a creature even comprehend what it was staring at?
How can I comprehend that you did not prepare adequately for this? Your adventure almost got all of us killed. And we didn't even intend to walk into this. It just happened. What steps of preparation did you take?
You know, that actually is a good question. How did you get in here? Where did you all come from? Who are you?
Front desk,
Why
please.
are you in my lab?
Receptionist let us in. She bids you good morning. Or I guess now, good afternoon.
Why would she let you in here? She knows better than to do that. She knew I was experimenting and would not be open to visitors.
Well, here are visitors that you may have a particular interest in. For we have seen a Dalkir on Eberron.
His eyes kind of go wide, and he like takes a step back, and he's like, and then he kind of squints, and he's like, bullshit. I don't know how you've come to know that name of that type of creature, that entity that resides from Zoriat, but you were lying.
For
How
one,
could you possibly know?
For one, you have a library of the plains, which talks about Zoriat, mentions the Dalkir, which seems to be have access to anybody who's able to get into the library.
Anybody know? That brings up another good question. How did you even get into this institution? As far as I can see, you were not dragon-marked members of any particular house. Who are you, and how did you get here?
What's attitude to the people who just saved your fucking life?
How did you get in here, you simple dwarf?
He rolls up his sleeve and he reveals a dragon mark.
Can we tell? What is it like a dragon mark of? Where are we at? I forgot the country we're in.
you're in Karnath, but dragon marks are not limited to particular geographical areas. If you wanted to make a very difficult Arcana check or intelligence check, you could attempt to identify his dragon mark.
Oh, I'm gonna make it. I probably try. I didn't make it. It was an 11.
21.
Ooh, that might actually do it.
Peitri wants to cut his dragon mark off.
It's a mark of so Eivar, you know it's a mark of House Kundarark, which is really the only dragon mark that affects dwarves. And you know that it's a mark that is closely associated with security.
Well, that mark didn't seem to help you too much when that thing came through.
No, I wouldn't expect my dragon mark to assist with something like that, but that is how I got into this institution. Now, as I said before, while I'm grateful for you guys saving me from what just happened, how did you get here? You do not seem to be dragon mark representatives of any of the houses, at least not so far as I can recognize.
We have done many a favor for and helped him out in his dire helped out Brevin from the what's that force called? The Sentinel Marshals. Brevin, leader of the Sentinel Marshals from House Kent. And as payment for the favors, he allowed us, granted us a passage to come into the library, so that we could find more information about this angel-faced creature that we encountered. I'm sure you are aware of the events of.
Wait a minute. Stop. Your ignorance is astounding. I do not know Brevin, but I do know the Sentinel Marshals, and they are not of House Cannith, they are of House Neath. But the fact that you understand not just what the Delkir are, but the fact that you've described them as you did. As far as I know, no text actually describes what a Delkir looks like. They describe aspects of them, spheres of control or impact that they may have had on Eberron in the short time that they seem to have maybe existed here. But
I can tell you I don't ever want
that is an apt description.
Well, it's not a pleasure seeing one, I can tell you that much.
Let's say that I believe you. Let's say that I accept that you have seen a Delkir. What did you see? How did you come to be in contact with such a creature?
Are you familiar, or have you heard of the trouble at Fort Deep Dark?
I don't stay up to date with current events. I'm too busy studying.
Well, a large fortress was sunk into the ground, and we were among the group that investigated the ruins to determine what happened. At the base of the ruins, we discovered I think it was a half goblin or a goblin, and he summoned a creature that had a very smooth, beautiful face, yet a chitinous, insect-like body.
As you describe it, his eyes go wide and he says, "You do know."
Yeah.
I've never had any firsthand primary sources of such accounts, but there have been some suggestions that a Delkir does appear in such a way. All right, so perhaps you've seen something that looks like a Delkir, but we should be done about 20. But how? What was the outcome of your encounter with this creature? What happened?
I think Peitri is the best candidate to answer that.
Well, we took our friend. But what did he look like? He looked... It's undescribable. It was the most beautiful, yet most foul thing I've ever seen.
Yes, you've said that, but he took your friend. What did he do with your friend? Why did he take him? Or under what circumstances? Tell me more about the details of this creature's behavior.
It was too quick. It just took him away. Like I can't describe much more. Created like this foul place as well, where sadists and masochists all live together. Ugh.
Sadists and masochists exist regardless of a Delkir. That does not necessarily change the way people act.
This thing had a very unwholesome feeling about it. It's left permanent marks in all of us. It tingled with chaotic magic, which may be a flavor of what Zoriat is actually like. I'm not sure.
So I recall a dream of this weird butcher as well.
Butcher?
Yeah, there was a dream which we had a long time ago, and it was about some weird butcher dude.
Mordain,
to us.
flesh render.
Do not speak that unholy name. Even mentioning it here at the Tower of the 12 can get you put into chains.
Voldemort.
You know of Mordain the Flesh Weaver?
Yes. He contacted.
How do you know that name?
He spoke to us. He talked to us about who he was and what he wanted to do with us and how we could find our friend.
Hold on 1 second. And then he goes to his desk. He pulls out a book and he flips through some pages. He is reading a passage, and then he brings together some ingredients very quickly and puts them into a potion that seems to bubble and froth in a small flask. And then he comes back to the group, and he throws it in the center of everybody, and there's a slight flash. And he says, "All right, excuse me for the theatrics, but this place is often observed by those who are competing with my various research and other they have their reasons, but it is not necessarily safe or can assume that this is a place that is not being watched. So I had to take matters to make sure that we clouded the area to some degree.
We'll thank him
Make
for
sure
not
that-
coming to our aid when we did that fight.
I'm sorry?
I said thank him when next time you talk to them about their magical surveillance. Thank him for not coming to our aid during that fight.
Oh, I have enemies here. They wouldn't necessarily have indulged me or tried to save me were I in danger. And of course, you being not necessarily affiliated with any dragon marked house personally, you would have just been inconsequential to them. Please don't take any offense to it. It's simply the politics of this institution. Agree with them or not, it does get results. But regardless, it is wise to protect ourselves when we are talking about such sensitive topics. Now, you had mentioned Mordain Fleshweaver.
Yes, who is this person?
First, tell me, you had a dream. What was this dream?
From what I recall, we were as if we were there in his lair or whatever we could call it, like whatever you would want to call it. And he spoke to us in like a, I don't know, menacing,
Taunting.
threatening, yeah, as if to seek him out.
And why would he want you to seek him out?
Well, he has a friend, or he knows of where our friend would be.
What friend do you speak of?
Shit, what was his name? I just remember him as the rogue.
Fenris.
Fenrith. Our friend Fenrith was taken by the Dalkir. And since
What?
the Flesh Weaver knows of Fenrith, then it makes sense that he is also either in league with the Dalkir or has come in contact with him.
That doesn't make sense. Nobody has heard from Mordain Fleshweaver in almost 100 years. He used to be a member of this institution, one of the most powerful transmuters that is ever known to have practiced. His experiments and his understanding of magics that could not be permitted ethically was too robust to allow to continue to be an official member of this institution. And so others tried to silence him. How would Fenris, this friend of yours, be connected to this?
It may be that he is not connected. It may be that he is just bait. And that we are the objects of their desire.
Now, in my research, as I am a foremost expert in the studies of the plane of Zoriat and the Dalkir, many of the primary texts that were written were actually written by Mordain. He is, if I am an expert, he is a savant when it comes to the subject. It seems more likely that he, if this is true, what you tell me, your encounter with this creature, the Dalkir, then it may be that he is inviting you to come and speak with him. He may be interested in what you have to say. Interesting.
I didn't quite think of it that way. He seemed more menacing, kind of coming unwanted into our heads like that, but it certainly is possible.
He is not one for formality or ethics. He does not care about people's feelings so long as he gets his needs met, so far as I can tell from the things that I have heard about him and the readings that I have done that he has authored. So, what is it that you've come here for? Obviously, you've come here to find out more about the Dalkir and Mordain.
We wish to track this thing down and wipe it off the face of Eberron. And to do that, we need to know. First, we need to know what this thing was, but we also need to know what its weaknesses are. Something that you, an esteemed scholar and subject matter expert of Zoriat, and by extension, probably the Dalkir, would have, kind of knowledge of, or have at least the best candidates to have knowledge of this and all of Eberron.
I know some things about Zoriat. Some things are very mysterious and evade my grasp of understanding. Others are merely theories and conjecture, nothing that I can necessarily prove. For example, I can't prove the circumstances by which Zoriat seems to have left the normal orbits of the planes. That is a mystery that defies me, although I do have thoughts in terms of potential for supervolcanoes or potential extraplanar collisions are possibilities. But when it comes to the Dalkir, all I know is that they are residents of Zoriat. They originated there. And they seem to have an interest in this land, on this plane. No, but if you are receiving messages in the form of dreams from Mordain, Fleshweaver, perhaps he wishes to speak with you directly about your experiences. Nobody, although like I said, as I am an expert, he dwarfs my intellectual capabilities in terms of his research and his intellect.
I laugh at that and say, dwarf. No?
Dwarf indeed.
He just kind of looks at you and kind of stares, and then he ignores and continues. So, all I know is that Mordain was set to be executed at least 100 years ago, if not more, by the Tower due to his practices and less than ethical approaches to magical research and study. However, the council was unable to follow through with the execution. They tried. By all means, he should have expired, but they were unable to complete the task. And Mordain eventually escaped. Last I heard, he had escaped to the wildlands of Drone, where monsters roam. You may have heard of it. It is the land that was procured and has recently been domesticated by the Sisters of Sora Corel.
Sora?
Wait a minute. Let me make sure I got that right. That doesn't sound right. Orakel. The Sisters of Orakel.
What?
The Treaty of Thronehold is... Now, I am not a
I gotta
political
bounce. I
man.
gotta bounce. Very sorry. Gotta go. Sorry.
All right, take care, man.
All right. Be back.
We're only
Bye,
going
bye.
to be a little bit longer. All right, so the Sisters of Sorakel. I know I am not a political man. I do not follow these things very closely. But from what I can understand, the Treaty of Thronehold recognized a few new countries outside of the normal expected kingdoms of Galifar, Karnath, Sire, Thrain, and such. Some new countries were added and recognized, such as the Talenta Plains and the Lazar Principalities, but Jerome remains unofficially recognized. Only Breland seems to be willing to see that as its own principality or its own kingdom, so to speak. But it is a land of monsters. Minotaur and Medusa, harpies, and all sorts of vicious creatures are in that land, as well as lycanthropes and gnolls and bugbears. It is uncivilized, and it is dangerous for those used to being in the places that you are used to.
Well, what would be
But
such a
I have heard that Mordain has made his home there. It offers him a modicum of protection, and well, from what I've heard, the whisperings, and in my own research, he seems to have made a pact with the Sisters of Sorakel, who govern those barbaric lands. If you were to try and seek him out, that would be the best place to try and find him.
And how exactly would a Dalkir be on this plane?
That is a good question. My theories and conjectures, obviously, they do not have any proof, but from what I can gather, prior to the cataclysm that led to Zoriat's skewing outside of its normal planar orbit, the Dalkir were able to cross into Eberron because, much like the other planes of existence, Eberron had areas of manifest zones, places where the walls between realms were particularly thin or even non-existent. It allowed portals to be created between here and Zoriat. Access, if you will. And although from my studies and understanding, most of those on Zoriat have no real interest in Eberron. I gather that, especially considering my experience just now with that creature that came forth. The Dalkir are somewhat different. They have an interest in Eberron. I'm not sure what. But whatever it may be, several of them did come through prior to the cataclysm. Some may still be here, which is further evidenced by your experience having met one.
Mm-hmm.
Although, from what I understand, these beings are rather powerful, and so the fact that we have not seen or heard of a Dalkir in generations suggests that they cannot act. Perhaps they are imprisoned. Perhaps some other creature has managed to prevent them from acting at large. But my understanding is that their power is great, and without such restrictions, they would have free reign to do what they would. I can't say what they would want to do or what their goals are, but I do know that from some of the accounts that I've researched, the primary sources I've managed to find, it's not good. They're terrifying creatures to be respected from a distance.
I will second that.
Well, I myself didn't see the thing, so I have no questions.
I don't want to go too much farther without Brandon or Elmorn or Anno.
This
guys have.
I'm actually tempted to like launch into a whole thing, but it would take too long, and I'm falling asleep.
Yeah, I mean, I think this would be a good chance for them to jump in too, because like, you know, they can also ask questions.
Yeah. So we'll continue with this section where you guys are kind of interviewing Hurtlekin next time, and I'll strongly encourage Brendan and Anno to watch the last 20 minutes or so of this broadcast so that they can get an understanding at least of, you know,
What's been covered.
Yeah. But with that being said, what did you guys think of that session? This session tonight?
It's good. It's frightening. That fight was frightening. I could see a TPK potential.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna do a party wipe, like.
Well, I mean, I hadn't used. I still have lots of action points, so I could have kept healing myself. But I could see losing somebody at least. And then,
Yeah.
I don't really understand, like, when is Peitri, like, okay, Peitri managed to basically save everything by getting everything to go back. But he was just as likely to me that Peitri was like, okay, I'm on top of this pillar now. I'm going to stab myself with this sword.
Just commit seppuku.
Right.
Yeah, like I flew 60 feet, you know, to or whatever to do like a massive heal, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna jump off." All right, yeah, whatever works. No,
Yeah.
I was sort of tempted to say, okay, you jump off, and its mouth is open, so you're gone. You jump into the giant alien mother bag. Now what do you want to do?
You get stabbed with the vicious thing's double jaw.
I thought the fight was hard, and you know, I spent a lot of time looking through all my abilities, and it's nice that I actually can do some healing now, because the question isn't what attack do I use, but like, am I going to use this turn to attack and try to, you know, destroy, like take some of these things down a notch, or am I going to use it to help save, which is a little more exciting from my perspective, because I mean, do more. You can do more to influence.
Maybe you can explain to me one thing I didn't understand, and I suspect it's just because I am tired. What happened to the big mother creature? Like, I know he jumped off. I don't really understand like how it got forced back into the portal.
So it didn't necessarily get forced back into the portal. What I was going for is that thing was kind of pulled into Eberron. It didn't necessarily come willingly. And being here, it was kind of feeling things out. And but I didn't have necessarily a solution in mind when I created this encounter, because I've learned not to do that, because it's more interesting to just let you guys kind of figure things out, since you always surprise me anyways with how you end up resolving the problems and the conflicts I put out. And so the way that I thought of it, because Peitri was using that final blade that he got from Thelanis, that it interacted in some way with this creature's biology and just caused it to want to return back to Eber, or back to Zoriat.
I mean, that was the one thing. My one piece of constructive criticism is I wasn't clear on why it disappeared. It just seemed like it got stabbed and decided to go home. We win.
Yeah. It's essentially what happened. Yeah. I mean, who would make the choice to stick around if they got stabbed? I wouldn't.
Oh, we did.
Fair.
I mean, it occurred to me at some point to be like, maybe we should just leave. Let the tower people deal with it.
Yeah, those are always choices. I mean, and that's like why I really like this style of play. Like, you guys really do. I'm not trying to figure out what the solutions are ahead of time or predetermine what you guys need to do to succeed. And so if you guys were just like, all right, this is too much for me, peace out, I mean, we'd roll with it and be like, okay, this is going on, but you guys don't want to deal with it, so you go over here, and now this interesting thing happens. So
that's when I was thinking. When I was thinking, like, maybe we should just retreat, that's when it occurred to me, like, maybe this will become the second Mournlands. Like, there'll be like a glowing, irradiated Mournlands, and then the black, negative Zoriat Mournlands.
Oh, man.
I don't know if Elmorn could deal with that with 2 more lands.
Oh, that's a lot of mourning.
And people will be like, you were up there, like you just escaped, and we'll be like, I don't know what you're talking about. We had nothing to do with that.
But yeah, so yeah, I kind of had like the statistics laid out with like these inky guys, and then also I was like, yeah, making sure that you guys lose 15 hit points a round because of the psychic scream would be an interesting mechanic that you guys haven't encountered before, and make it a little bit more deadly, and then raise kind of the threat level past what you guys have encountered before. And so I was like interested to see how you guys would react to that. And yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I thought the encounter was fine. Like, I did think so. I didn't think it would be a TPK really. I thought maybe Peitri would die when he was already in his vitality points. But with action points, I think it's relatively easy to overcome hit point damage.
Yeah.
You just have to survive until you can use your action point, just long enough for that. And then he had the revivify stored, so I was like, okay, well, I guess he's safe.
Yeah. So but yeah, I did not plan on those double criticals against him.
Well, I mean, that's it would have just like if it had happened to me, it would have just changed. I would have had to have used, because I still only used 1 action point and all that. I was waiting for. I imagined we were going to get through all the inkies, and then we would like start focusing on the big creature. So I was sort of conserving my action points so I could like Nova then.
I see.
But I mean, if I had been like double critted, I would have had to use an action point or 2, and maybe like all my hit dice. But I think I could have stayed up a while. And ultimately, Peitri did as well.
Yeah, but I thought you guys
really without Elmorn, Elmorn tanking everything for us.
Yeah. Without that sweet sentinel feat.
Right, just like one use of the sentinel feat as opposed to like the normal 70 use of the sentinel feat.
Yeah, and I also I used it in a way that I wouldn't allow him to use it because he did it with it at range with his special halberd, which I specifically said he couldn't do. So I hope he doesn't. I hope he doesn't watch this video.
Right, maybe when you're telling him what parts to watch, you can just say, "Do not watch." Time period.
Just so you guys know, on the live chat on YouTube, Peter and Anna are on it right now. And I wish I had this open while we were playing. Like as the fight was going on, and like Peter, these seem funny. I just wish I would have seen them in context because I would have laughed more.
Oh man. Wait, where are you looking at those things? I want to look at them.
On YouTube.
I'll link it in the chat.
All right.
It's literally the live video for this.
Oh, and Anno, because I don't think you've ever gotten to see it. This was in Peter's campaign our great and ultimate foe, the Lich Queen.
That was awesome. I love the fact that he did that. I can see those comments now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do that in game. Sorry, I'm DM. I can do what I want.
All right, I'm gonna hit the hay.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Thank you for sacrificing your 80-year-old Scotch to be part of this.
At least as I understand it, he was going to open it if I blew you guys off and came out. So I don't know that he opened it. Maybe I'll still get to sample it. I'm sure it's ridiculously expensive, but I don't know the details of it.
Yeah.
Well, please let us know how it goes.
Oh, what day? I mean, I know we've got Anno in the chat. What day next week are we meeting? Thursday again?
I'm thinking Thursday works best right now. I mean, it works for me. It works for Dustin, right? Dustin?
Yeah, it works for me.
And I know Brendan is Thursday is preferable for him because it's his Friday right now.
Okay, so I'll see you next Thursday.
Yeah.
Night.
All right. Night.